Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tony Robbins.
Good to see you, man.
You too, buddy. First of all, thanks for nothing off the top of the show.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
That's what you do, though, right? A lot of people think that you come up like, all right, you can do it, but you actually open by telling people you're done.
Yeah, I'm not a positive thinking guy. I'm not here to pump you up. What I'm here to do is help you break the pattern that's stopping you.
That's what I wondered, if like Chuck Liddell, Ultimate Fighter, who top of his game, who's having a tough time right now. You coached the Los Angeles Kings when they made their run.
Yes.
You weren't behind the bench, but you worked with them.
Yes.
World leaders. Can you approach people the same way? Or even though patterns have developed, do you have to go at everybody very differently?
Well, everybody has a different personality, different beliefs, different values, different cultures. But we have the same human needs. And our nervous system functions the same way. So, for example, when you're turning around an athlete, we've all seen an athlete walk out and you think he's going to miss the shot. You know it. You can see it in his body. He's missing that certainty, that complete edge. And that's a state. So I don't know if you're on the show, it's ever happened to you, but it happens to most people. You say something, and after you say it, you think, how did I say that? I can't believe I said that. It was so stupid.
Every day of my life, bro.
Right.
Every day is like that.
But you have other times, I know you do, I've seen it, where you're like in the flow and you know it, where you say something, it comes through you, and afterwards you're just like, that was me. I don't know how I did that, but I'm impressed with myself. That state of mind can be triggered. So I'll give you an example. I took Andre Agassi years ago when, like 91, 92, he'd been #1 and dropped down to 32nd. Yeah. And they brought him to me and he was not happy and he's working on his swing. And I said, Andre, when you hit a tennis ball perfectly, you're not thinking about your swing. There's a state. So I show him films of when he won at Wimbledon, when he had this thing called hair. And he walks in a certain way and he owns it and he looks at the other side and he's got this look in his eye. So I show him what he does both physically and his focus. And then I contrast that to what he did when he lost, in the French Open. And he's destroyed there, different body. And you find those triggers, and once you know those triggers, you can change the state. So, for example, somebody's depressed. You know what their body's like. Where's their shoulders? Where's their head? Down. Talking loud or quiet? Fast or slow?
Slow. That's true.
And that biochemically changes you. So most of us use drugs to change our biochemistry.
We live in, it appears to be the over-medicated generation.
Appears?
Yeah. Everybody I know is on something, man. I mean, in fact, you go out to a party and someone's like, I got a bit of a headache. Here, try Xanax. That's not for headaches. Try it. It'll help. And I imagine that weighs into what you do. I assume there are a lot of people who just try to mask, or not even mask. Sometimes I guess the medication does help. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. Yeah. But from your perspective, you see this.
Well, I'm sure the places where it's a necessity, but there's no question we over-medicate. If you look at the statistics on what we've done to our kids in the last 10 years, whether it be Ritalin, you can go to any drug and you can see that it's exploded, and it's been marketing. And it's also, I think, us not taking responsibility. We're all so busy. People have got so many emails and so many voicemails, and they're just trying to get through the day. We don't talk to anybody anymore. It's like, I don't want to talk to them. We just communicate to them. Yeah. It's kind of a bizarre thing. Let me text to them. Let me just leave a message on their Facebook or whatever. So
I do that all the time.
And I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm just saying the biggest thing that's missing for meaning is depth. Yeah. Most of us have so much breadth, but not as much depth. And that's when life starts to feel alive. And without that depth, you learn for something to try and get out of the fact that you don't feel that meaning in your life. And that might be food or it might be drugs. How many people do you know that take antidepressants and they're still depressed?
Yeah.
I get people who come to my Date with Destiny seminar. I had a gentleman get up who was maxed on all forms. He had Prozac, Zoloft, everything. And at the very end, he's totally depressed. I found out that he's a psychiatrist who supervises other psychiatrists in the area of depression.
So that's why he gets all those prescriptions.
But by the end, we got to the cause. The cause is when your life doesn't match your expectations, you're going to be in pain. Like if anybody looks at an area of your life that you're happy in would be what? What's an area you're pleased in?
I like my job.
Yeah, I would think that was pretty obvious, right? So right now, why do you like your job?
Because it doesn't feel like I work.
Yeah. And so your life conditions right now, condition of your life, matches your core expectation of what it should be like.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be work. It'd be fun. It'd be amazing. I'd have an impact.
Yeah.
Tell me now you're not thrilled with, if there is one.
I have no focus.
Really?
Yeah, I can't focus on anything but this job.
Oh, okay.
Well, the rest of my life's a disaster, man.
Tell me now you're not pleased with specifically the rest of your life.
I can't sleep.
Can't sleep?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Why?
I don't know. It's been like 20 years.
Interesting. Well,
if you can fix this, I'm willing to do it on air. I'm willing to do it on air.
Well, since I sleep very often 3 or 4 hours a night, I'm not a good guy to do the training for you.
Fair enough.
But part of that process, if we took an area of life, let's say whatever area, your relationships, your life, anybody tells me an area, my relationships are not where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
The reason they're unhappy is their life conditions don't match how they think it should be. So I'll give you an example. A woman is very depressed. She's got all these medications. I start talking with her. I dig under to find out what is her mindset. What's her blueprint? What's the real problem? Find out that she's 61 years old. She always believed she had to have 3 children. They're going to be perfect, and she will happily live ever after. She's been married twice. She's never had children. She's 61 years old. So no matter what happens in her life, that core expectation can't be met. So barring a medical miracle of changing her physiology, she has to change that blueprint. She has to change that set of beliefs, that set of rules, or she'll never be fulfilled. So what I look for is, where is it your blueprint strong? Because everybody's got a strong area. Where is it weak? And then how do we shore it up? How do we either change the conditions of your life, change your body, change your relationship, or how do we change your blueprint to something that has to do with reality so you can enjoy your life again?
Did you reach bottom?
Well, I did. I reached bottom when I was 19. I missed it when I was 21, a couple different times. Yeah. I don't think there is a bottom for people. I think you go through stages of life where you have to reevaluate yourself. I mean, you asked me, backstage, you seem like you're a little different than how you were. Well, I think a lot of people get locked into, they saw you one way, it was an infomercial, and I do have a lot of energy, and I am completely over the top. That's if you're going to hold an audience for 50 hours in a weekend.
Yeah, you got to be Kiss, man. You got to be like that David Lee Roth.
Well, hopefully you're more than that. No disrespect to Kiss. But you've got to be able to meet all those people's needs who won't sit for a 3-hour movie, and you've got to be able to do everything, and you've got to use the body. So I think people lock me into that place. But also, when you go through the loss of your mother, I know your mother's very close to you, mine was as well, 3 fathers in my case.
Yeah.
When someone tells you, pardon me?
You buried 3 fathers, you still have a tumor.
I do.
And so you had a tumor on your pituitary gland? Mm-hmm. And how old were you when you found out?
31, 32.
Yeah, okay, that's going to mess you up for a bit, right?
Well, you definitely get your full attention. You start wondering if you're going to be here or not, and you have to deal with the uncertainty of that, what it means. And, surgery might mean they cut up my brain, I might die. Drugs that they wanted me to take, I found out 6 months later where the FDA banned them, said they created cancer. Mm-hmm. So fortunately, I didn't do that. I went through the changes in relationships. I got married when I was 24 years old to a wonderful woman, but she was 12 years my senior, had been married twice before, and I adopted her kids. So I was 24 years old with a 17-year-old son, an 11-year-old daughter, a 5-year-old son, and a kid on the way. So all those experiences in life give you the richness of your life, the pain and the pleasure that you pull from to hopefully make a difference for other people and enjoy your life and find meaning in your life.
Okay, we're going to, that relationship, the sort of fateful way you met your new wife and how that changed your life.
She's not new.
Well, new-ish.
It's almost 9 years.
You're second. And a whole lot more. We got more to get into with Tony Robbins. The hour will be right back. All right, you're back here on the hour. We continue to hang out with Tony Robbins. In the commercial break, he's fixed my life. Completely and utterly fixed my life. I suspect you get calls from lots of different people. And do you ever get a call and you're surprised? They're like, hey, I can't believe that person needs me or wants to talk to me.
Not at this stage of my life, because everybody has something they want to change, and it's only a matter of time. I don't care. None of us are invincible. And even if you've succeeded at everything, then it's like, what's the next level of fulfillment for me? Mm-hmm. So I'm not really surprised by that, but I've had some very interesting experiences of, different people at different stages that, how am I going to work with this person when somebody just bit off somebody's ear and they're a boxer, to give you an idea.
Come on, you worked with Iron Mike Tyson?
Yeah, right after that occurred, and then I'm there on the side watching his next fight, praying he doesn't do this again, But here's a guy, as an example, I'm a student of people's psychology, not in a pragmatic way. Not let's analyze your past, but let's look at what's really real and what's governing you today. And he was one of the most surprising people I ever met. I've been with Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, I've been amazing human beings that I respect. But this guy is so well-read. He has such a good heart, but his entire life he got loved by fighting, and when people took advantage of him, he just snapped. So he'd be in the middle of a conversation telling me about being in prison where he brought the whites and the blacks together and stopped all the pieces that were going on there, and then he'd say a few minutes later, but sometimes I think we ought to just push the button and kill them all. He'd snap in the middle of something.
Well, his childhood is so tragic. When you read the Mike Tyson,
I know.
Have you ever been called into a scenario where you're like, I'm not good, I can't help you?
Well, I'm sure there may be a time where I thought I could and was not successful, but no, because I live for that challenge. I love to take on the impossible. One of the things that you'll see very often, one of the hardest things, is when someone's lost a child. I get the phone call when the athlete's burning down on television, when the child's going to commit suicide, and I haven't lost one out of thousands in 30 years. And that doesn't mean I won't someday, but not one, because of understanding the needs. But the hardest part is when a child's already gone. Parents, that's the one that they just don't know how to deal with. So those that I've been able to help have been probably the toughest, honestly. My message to people is, look, it's not easy, but nothing in life is permanent. No problem is permanent. Your soul's permanent. Nothing is so pervasive that you can't recover from it if you change your psychology and if you're willing to do something and get outside of yourself. And so that thought process kind of guides me if I'm working with somebody. I don't think I ever come to a point of I'm going to surrender or not take it on.
Has President Bush called you and said, help me with Iraq? What do I do here?
No, he's not.
Could you help him?
I'm not a fan of President Bush, like most humans, I think, at this stage.
But I wonder how much, and I ask you that, in that, do you need to be liked? Do you want to be liked?
I think I want to be loved. I think everybody wants to be loved at some level. But I think up until I met my wife, almost 9 years ago, my buddy Pearl, my sage, she changed my life because she loved me. For me, it wasn't what I did. Mm-hmm. I can remember being on stage.
She wasn't a fan of you, was she?
Not even slightly. She thought, well, these people are messed up. Who's this Tony Robbins guy? She's not Mr. Success. I had glued hair and, and stuff. She finally got me to cut my hair, thank God, something, But we fell in love in a different way, not an attraction, like a spiritual connection where I saw across the room, walked across it, you are so beautiful. I mean, inside beautiful. And then we're friends for 6 months while I dated other people and became really deep friends.
So you're obviously, you want to be touched by life and all that stuff. People come to you and expect you to help them get through their life. When you go through tough times and failures personally, do people have a false expectation of what your life should be like?
Well, I think we're in a society today where we love to build somebody up and tear them down. I don't know if you've been through that stage yet, but I'm sure you will be. It's just part of our society today. So, but also that makes you look at your life differently. I started telling you, probably a moment in my life, you want to talk about a failure. I can remember being on stage in the Continental Center in New York City, and I had 18,000 people, which in those days would be a dream to have that many people. And, I want to make it like a rock concert. You won't sit for a 3-hour movie. I'm not going to hold you for 12 hours. I got to deliver. You can vote with your feet in any moment. So it's been a killer day, and people are out of their minds, and people are so generous. They come up and hug you and love you. And that same day my company went public. I made $400 million, on paper that day. Yeah. So it should have been like the greatest victory, and emotionally, physically, financially, contribution. And I went home and I was depressed. And the reason I was depressed is, on stage, that was me. But when home, I was always mitigating because I was too loud, I was too this, I was too that. Mm-hmm. And I had to make that decision to say, you failed miserably in this area. Someone else may be happy, but if you're not happy, what is this all for?
Here's my last question. Tom Cruise, Magnolia. Did he call you?
No, he didn't call me.
When you saw that, what did you think?
Well, I saw parts of it, obviously, that were an exaggeration of my work. And then there's another gentleman I know that he actually went and modeled, who worked with men on picking people up, and it was just it was a fascinating thing to watch. But no, it wasn't terribly exciting, and no, he did not talk to me. He was not coached by me, we'll put it that way.
There you go. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Good to see you, too.
Tony Robbins, everybody. Awesome. Lots more to coming down, my friends. See you guys.